I saw firsthand as a volunteer helping a little girl who at the time was not diagnosed, just had a developmental delay diagnosis, wasn't able to walk, and was 4 years old, and her physical therapist had recommended that she try riding, therapeutic riding, and after riding for just 6 weeks, she took her first steps. And I remember being at the barn when she walked down the barn aisle, and we all just cried.
The opinions expressed in the following program are those of the producer and not necessarily those of WKTV Community Media.
Hello, West Michigan. This is Grand Tap Media Business TV. My name is Pamela Keim, your host. The spirit of the show is to introduce West Michigan to all the businesses, nonprofits, individuals that can help us thrive in our lives. And we have a very special guest today, and she is part of a nonprofit, and I'm excited to share what this nonprofit does. But for all you people out there that might be experiencing maybe some anxiety, stress, and maybe you've tried just some therapy, maybe you went one-on-one with somebody and you still kind of feel like there's something that you need to work through, well, this person may have the answer for you. I want to welcome to Grand Tap Media is Melissa Connor, and she is part of Renew, I'm going to get this right, Renew Therapeutic Riding Center, and their mission is to use horses to help break through people that maybe there's something gone through some PTSD, or maybe they have some trauma in their life and regular therapy hasn't worked. But Melissa's going to be on the show today to share what their nonprofit does and how it is helping people break through some maybe things that they've been dealing with for years. So I want to welcome Melissa Connor to the show.
Thank you so much, Pamela. It's a joy to be here.
Yes, and we came together through a mutual friend of ours that serves on your board, and his name is Paul Kuiper. So for Paul Kuiper out there, we want to thank you for introducing. But I have heard people have used, this type of therapy. But it's always kind of interesting when I meet people that have really made it work for people that kind of break through. But I want you to share with our audience, who you are, what does this do for people, and why does this work, as opposed to just going to a therapist?
Sure. Well, thank you so much again. It's wonderful to be here. I love sharing the story about Renew Therapeutic Riding Center and what we do. We're located in Holland, Michigan, but we serve people from all over West Michigan. So our mission is to enhance the well-being of people in our community through the physical, cognitive, and emotional benefits of therapeutic horsemanship. Why this works, we bring people together who are facing challenges in their daily lives, whether that is, you referred to the mental health or emotional, which is a big factor, especially since COVID. But we also work with people who might have physical or cognitive challenges. So we believe and have seen evidence of just the connection that can happen between that horse and human relationship that really opens up neuropathways and all kinds of things to bring about confidence, to bring about clearer thinking, to bring about an understanding of behaviors, to experience calm, and to be able to process the things that happen in life more easily. So it's an exciting field, it's a growing field, and we see miracles happen every day on our farm.
Well, I would think that as a human experience, you can see where a dog can help somebody. But there's something, that I've talked to therapists about that are in this field of work that you just mentioned. They talk about horses, right? And horses tend to gravitate to, if you have a group of people, they will pick somebody. And share with us, why is it that horses, maybe because we've been around them, but maybe now removed from them because of our lives now, we don't need them as much. But how is it that, like children, can you just share, because I know it really helps children release the barrier, maybe they went through a trauma, like abuse, sexual abuse or whatever, and just caring for the horse. And the horse doesn't say anything to the...
Right.
So share with us, how does this work on your ranch?
Sure. Gosh, I will share a little story about something that just happened last week, just a few days ago. Last week, one of our many programs, we do therapeutic riding, we do speech therapy, we do lots of different programs, but one of our programs is Pony Pals, which is for children in the foster care system. And we had a Pony Pals camp happening last week. And in particular, there was a family with 2 foster children who were part of the program. And during the week, they build a relationship with one horse. And
Why one?
they're assigned a horse. They work in teams with volunteers, and they get to know the horse. They get to know what the horse likes, doesn't like, what the horse prefers to eat, how the horse is around them, and they really do try to build a friendship with their horse. So it's just like getting to know a person. Horses have personalities, just
Right.
like people.
Yes.
So one major breakthrough happened last week with these 2 children, where the foster parent told us that they were more talkative, were more communicative at home to their needs. They were excited to go to a program, whereas they were not excited to go to a therapy session, because they had started to build this exciting new friendship with a 1,000-pound animal. So sometimes getting out of a clinical setting, getting to the farm, getting into the barn, smelling the dirt, being around these animals who are exponentially larger than we are as humans,
Right.
and being able to build a relationship, build a friendship, get to know each other, and build a connection through trust. Horses are good listeners. They don't talk back.
I was going to say, right? Yes.
They move their ears move all around, so you can tell when they're listening to your voice. Sometimes words aren't needed. We do serve some people where no words are exchanged, but the presence of the horse and the presence of the human, there's that connection. So that is a healing connection. And
Do you
that
think
is
it's the
what-
eye contact? I didn't mean to interrupt, but you know, with the horses, right? Somehow, because I haven't been around a horse in a long time, but when I was a child, and I went to camp, and they let you ride horses. They have an ability to have a good eye contact. Do you notice that?
Well, their eyes are huge, which is very different than other animals that we might interact with on a daily basis or on a more typical basis. They can see 350 degrees around, but this is the amazing thing to me. If you actually study how horses were created, they were really created to be wild. They were created to eat grass. They were created to roam. Horses in the wild can move 30 miles in a day. We have domesticated them, and over history, they've been partners for work, for building, for wars, for all kinds of things. And it's really only been in the last 50 years that we have started to tap into some of this healing nature of horses. So I think their eyes are welcoming for us, but we are predators and they are prey. So this is one thing that's very different from, say, interacting with dogs. Dogs are more similar to humans than horses are to humans. So
Right.
it really takes trust. It really takes for them to accept you, as they live in herds. They were born to live in herds, to have relationships with each other. So to approach them speaking their language and listening to them and what they need, and finding out they have a lot to give to us as humans if we will embrace them and care for them and approach them in this way.
Okay, so share with, as a child comes, what do we look, kind of give us a description of what Renew business is. What does it look like when you pull in? What is it, how many acres do you have? How many
Sure.
employees? Can you share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We are a 20-acre farm on the south side of Holland, so we are really positioned very close to 196. We're right between Hamilton, Zeeland, and Holland, and so only about 30 minutes from Grand Rapids. We serve this entire area. We have people that will drive more than an hour to come for services at Renew. We are under construction, so we
I
are.
heard you had a capital campaign. What was that all about?
So we are in phase 2 of our capital campaign. We bought our property in 2018. which was our 9th year of operation as a 501c3 nonprofit. So we're celebrating our 15th year this year, 2024. Our phase 1 capital campaign, we built a heated indoor arena so that we could operate year-round, regardless of the weather, to be able to provide services, which are therapeutic riding, different interactions with horses. It's a huge enclosed arena. It's insulated. It's a fabulous space. So we built that first on our farm. We were using an old barn that was originally built for hogs until we were able to raise enough money to tear that down this past year, and we're building a 24-stall heated horse barn currently that will have plenty of spaces for our participants, our students, our volunteers, and our staff to occupy and do services out of. So we're in the final stages of that phase 2, building our horse barn. We have $122,000 left to raise to cross the finish line.
What was the goal?
$1.2 million.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So we're almost there. So we're under construction right now. So when you pull in, you see our large arena. It's the largest building on the property. There's a farmhouse on the property which houses offices right now. We have an equipment barn. You'll see us under construction, and then we have lots of pastures and paddocks where our 20 horses live. So
wow,
yeah.
Where do you get your horses?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Most of them are on a free care lease, which means they are borrowed. They have owners who have lent them to our program. They go through a training. We go through a 60-day trial period to see if they like being a therapy horse. Being a therapy horse is a special job. It does take a special horse.
Okay.
We like horses that have had life experience, but that are healthy, that aren't dealing with any of their own trauma or their own physical ailments that might make it difficult for them to connect with the people that we serve. So that's most of them, are slightly more than half are on that arrangements. We take care of them. Their owners still have a relationship with them. And then if they need to retire from this type of work, or if the owner is in a different place in life and wants them back, then we can make that happen. And then we own several of them as well. We hardly ever purchase. We have purchased a few, but most of them are donated, most of the ones that we own outright.
Are they donated because maybe their kids don't ride anymore, or it's a big cost? What is the cost of caring for one horse?
Oh, that's an excellent question, because they are expensive.
Yes.
Yes, many people do. They have for example, one horse that we currently have that was donated belonged to a young girl through high school, middle school and high school, and she was part of the equestrian team, and then she went off to college, and so she donated her horse to our program.
Okay.
Sometimes people go through a life change where they want the horse to have a job, a meaningful job, and to be well cared for, which we take pride in taking excellent care of our horses. Just they're seen by the vet regularly, the farrier. They get daily care. They're on an exercise program. We try to take care of all their needs because they're our partners and our coworkers. So sometimes you asked me as part of your previous question to talk about our staff. I say we have 10 staff, but we have 20 equine staff. So
volunteers?
No, we have over 200 volunteers. Our equine staff, just our horses. They're really we treat them like they're our.
Okay.
They're our coworkers.
I mean, so how did? Okay, so I was, we've met just before we came on the show a few weeks back. But I mean, how did you get into this? I mean, it's not something you go into the nonprofit world, or you go into your, I want to be around horses and whatever. You may have always wanted that. Did you kind of fall into that? How did you get into this yourself?
I did sort of fall into it, but I grew up riding. I was lucky enough to have a pony growing up. I was the youngest of 3 girls in my family, and my older 2 sisters were riders. So got a pony at a very young age, and grew up daily going to the barn, doing the chores, taking care of.
So you don't mind any of that?
Oh, no, I find it delightful. Oh. I enjoy doing all of it. So grew up riding, and then was away from it as an adult for a while, but really learned about therapeutic benefits of horsemanship as an adult in the 90s through friends that I had and contacts I had that were still within the horse world, and I became first certified as a therapeutic riding instructor in 2005, and that was through our accrediting body. They're the largest one in the industry. At the time, it was called the North American Riding for the Handicapped Association. They changed their name in 2011. They're now PATH, the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship.
That was a good move.
Yes. So they've been PATH since then, and really just, I started as a volunteer before getting my certification, and I saw firsthand as a volunteer helping a little girl who at the time was not diagnosed, just had a developmental delay diagnosis, wasn't able to walk, and was 4 years old, and her physical therapist had recommended that she try riding, therapeutic riding, and after riding for just 6 weeks, she took her first steps. And I remember being at the barn when she walked down the barn aisle, and we all just cried because it was so beautiful, and we had been a part of making that happen for her, and I was hooked. I was hooked from that day on. I wanted to be part of, horses were sport to me growing up. I competed in 100 jumpers, and my pony was one of my best friends, absolutely. So I had that connection, but when I learned that there was so much more power in the horse and human connection, I think we've barely tapped into it to fully understanding
I think,
it.
yeah, I do agree with that, and I think as a person that's lived a while in life, I can see that everybody has a certain path, right? Some might be, it may be educate, you know what I'm saying? A path to healing. And when you have a trauma, when you're, I guess we call that now trauma or whatever, some kind of an incident, maybe even a veteran, that, and there's something about caring for, even though they tell you to do this, but we don't always, it's not the same thing. It's sometimes I cared for the elderly in a prior career, and it helped me to appreciate life, right? To see things differently. But what is it like for a child that comes and let's say that maybe have been sexually abused or physically or just abandoned, right? Some of these kids have been abandoned, whatever, and they come in and what's their experience? Like when they walk into this barn and now they're taking care of something that doesn't talk to them, doesn't judge them. What is?
So everyone has their own unique experience. So we see on a regular basis people come in, and we make a point of being a welcoming, caring environment. So we want to make sure everybody feels safe. But as they approach our horses and get to know our horses as a new child coming in, we would tell them a little bit about the horse, but we want them to discover the things that make this horse special also. We have, for instance, if a child is going to ride, we have a ramp that's elevated off the ground, so to help them be able to mount, to get on the back of the horse easily and with a little bit more confidence. So the horse doesn't seem quite so big when you mount from the ramp.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
We have volunteers who work as horse leaders and sidewalkers and just support. They're part of the support team for each participant when they come to ride. We have several certified therapeutic riding instructors on our staff, so they create the lesson plans. They think about the goals, the life goals of each rider, and try to map out a plan that's going to help meet those goals, even while they're learning horsemanship skills or while they're caring for a horse in the process. So it's very empowering, and empowerment is one of our core values at Renew, but it's very empowering for a child to ask a horse to walk on, and then for the horse to move while carrying them, and then to ask the horse to stop, or we teach the word whoa, and for the horse to stop. That's pretty amazing.
It's probably the first time they had people listen to somebody listen to them, right? Or some, and I think,
right.
All right, and what is the average cost? Is insurance cover this? How does this, the payment for mother or father or somebody, maybe a veteran, or what?
We do serve veterans as well. We the cost to the public when they come for services is a fraction of our actual cost. We charge $40 per therapeutic riding lesson.
And how long is that?
And that is for 45 minutes
Okay.
with the horse. So we do sometimes set up group structures, and we can do either mounted work or unmounted work, and we can be flexible on that cost a little bit. But that's about 25% of our actual cost. So we fundraise for the difference.
And the
so
insurance doesn't cover it.
this is not a service covered by health insurance. Here in the state of Michigan, when we have participants who might have a brain injury due to a car accident, we have been able to get it approved to have that covered by the auto insurance. But it depends on a case-by-case basis on what the referrals are.
Well, you know, when you get to the point as a parent or somebody that's maybe going through a depression, sometimes it's instead you're not doing anything anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
better to come to something like that to get that. And okay, what other services do you have? I mean, we talked a lot about children because I have a heart for that too, for kids that need that. But what else do you have available?
So we do therapeutic riding is our primary service. So that is learning to ride for people with a physical, cognitive, or emotional challenge in their lives. But we also offer equine assisted learning programs, which are usually not mounted. So that's where Pony Pals Camp for foster care children that I told you about. We offer Standing Watch, which is for veterans and first responders who have experienced PTSD. That is also an unmounted program. That's a very unique one-on-one situation with the horse where they would come weekly and really build a strong bond with one horse. While we teach them a couple different techniques to work through with the horse to help the horse relax. What science has found is that it reduces stress tremendously in the person providing that kind of care to the horse as well.
Yes, it
So
is.
it's a mutually beneficial service. So we have that going on as well. We offer speech therapy that is mounted. It is a speech therapy just like you would get in a clinical setting, but it is on horseback, so it is on a moving horse. Speech camp happens in the summer, and then we do speech camp on Tuesdays regularly, partnering with 2 different speech therapists locally and several students from the speech language pathology at Grand Valley State University who come and support that program. So that is amazing. We've had students really meet and exceed their goals either from their IEPs in school or been released from speech therapy years ahead of the projected time just by adding the movement. The movement of the horse does amazing things for the core, the diaphragm, your respiration, your circulation, and then you see that come out in speech.
Well, it would make sense. I mean, people are, just to connect to another living thing, right? An animal or whatever. So, all right. So is there anything that I haven't covered that we, that I didn't look down at my notes, questions and stuff that you would like to share?
Well, we would love for everybody to come check us out. We are having a Fall Festival, which is an annual event on September 21st at the farm from 2 to 4 p.m. Everybody's invited. It's just a community event. It's free to attend. So we have different activities happening then.
Well, that's always wonderful. And now quickly for the volunteers, right? Do you have to know? Do you have to know about horses to be a volunteer? How's that? Real quickly, how's that process if you wanted to?
That's a great question. You do not need to know anything. You don't need to know anything about horses or people with disabilities or trauma or anything. We provide all of the training. You just need to be available and willing to learn. So volunteers are our number one need. It takes a lot of volunteers to make what we do
They have to
happen.
be taken care of 24/7. You know what I mean? I mean, 7 days a week.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And many of our students, especially children, require, when I was talking about sidewalkers and horse leaders and that's all volunteer support. So it's very relational, it's very hands-on. We provide the training, and so there's information that can be found on our website about how to get involved as a volunteer.
Well, that is great. So this is real quick, to wrap this up, it's a therapeutic with horses, caring for the horses, and you're also able to the riding process, right?
Yes.
Because not everybody does that, the riding. A lot of them just take care of that I've ran into. It's like, oh yeah, no, we don't, But yours, when you said that they could ride them, I'm like, wow, that's really good.
Therapeutic riding.
Therapeutic riding, and that gives some kind of soothing, and I'm sure connecting to a large horse, whatever. So for everybody out there that would like to learn more about your services, you're a nonprofit, how do they reach you?
Yes, we can be found. Our website is the best resource. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, but renewtrc.org is our website. All of our information is there. An email connect, you can find out the connect with us through that. Send us a message, and we'd love to hear from you.
And once again, when is your event happening?
Saturday, September 21st is our fall festival, and all are invited.
Well, I look forward to that. I'm sure I'll get an invite in the mail.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. But it is in Holland, and it's really not that far. I mean,
really
people
not.
think, but anyways, check it out. It could be the best thing that could happen because there's a lot of people dealing with depression, anxiety. I can feel that too, especially, 2024, there's a lot of things that are happening that it happens so quickly. It's not like it's going like months, it's like days. Also, you open up the news, right?
Right.
And I feel it myself, and I think maybe just getting away and caring for somebody, a horse that doesn't have to worry about the upcoming election. I want to thank Melissa Connor for being here. Renew Therapeutic Riding Center. Yes. All right, this is Pamela Keim from GRTV Media. We will catch you next time. Take care, everyone.